Let's get it started. Today we are going to evaluate an essay of book number 5, Cambridge book number 5 actually, test number 1, task 2. Okay, we have got a question in front of us that says universities should accept equal number of students of male and female candidates in every subject. To what extent do you agree or disagree? So first of all, what we are going to do is we are going to do a brainstorming, right? We're going to do the brainstorming here. So I particularly disagree with this idea. So I have jotted down a few ideas here. You can see why would I agree or disagree. I would disagree because demotivation is there, right? Because of non-merit selection, and it fires up the animosity. So what I'm doing is I am going to disagree with this entire topic because I don't think like equal number of students must be from male and female. Okay, it could be from anyone. So let's take a look at furthermore thing. So here we have a complete introduction. We see that an introduction has been written here, right? Universities are generally proposed that adequacy in selecting boys and girls for almost all faculties will be a fair criteria. So you see over here, you can see it's a complete line, right, which is talking about this whole idea. And here comes another line. It says, I completely disagree with the idea because it does not only unnerve pupils of both gender and trivial non-merit selection, but also it could fire up the sense of animosity among candidates. So let's go in depth of this entire introduction. So let's take a look. These are the three ideas which we have already jotted down, right? Now let's take a look at the introduction. In introduction, the first line was written, universities are generally proposed that adequacy in selecting boys and girls for almost all faculties will be a fair criteria. So what they have done over here is they have given a general idea, right? So it's entirely talking about the main concept of the topic. Okay, then in this essay, we have seen that a candidate has written, I completely disagree with the idea. It is basically what a specific idea, and he or she is completely disagreeing with the topic. All right. So the thesis statement starts from here. It says, it includes all three ideas here: unnerve pupils of both gender. Number 2, prevail non-merit selection. And then the third point, that is sense of animosity. So I can easily understand this introduction is fulfilling the entire requirement of, writing an essay introduction. So let's proceed towards body paragraph. Okay, here comes body paragraph number 1. In body paragraph number 1, I can see, first of all, implementation of this rule can demotivate applicants in the higher education sector. This is because they keep striving hard to get on well with society by selecting most prestigious universities, and if these universities initiate finalizing students based on their gender, it will be leaving high achievers demoralized. All right. To illustrate, a successful female in exam should not be selected, as there should not be more than 50% females in a class. All right, let's take a look in depth of this body paragraph. In this body paragraph, we can see that the candidate has used a linking word here, first of all, by saying, because it is, first idea. And here comes the question number 1. What is the idea? So this essay has written the topic sentence, right? Implementation of this rule can demotivate applicants in higher education sector, which is actually correlating with the first idea which was mentioned in the introduction. Then, we see that this is because now they are talking about why do you say this, right? Answering this question, why do you say this? They keep striving hard to get on well with society by selecting most prestigious universities. And if these universities initiate finalizing students based on their gender, it will be leaving high achievers demoralized. So till here, I can see that that's basically a complete explanation of why this person is saying this idea, the first idea, the topic sentence, right? So he has particularly justified the entire idea here, right? Now let's take a look at another linking word to illustrate. They have given, an example by saying, to illustrate, a successful female in exam should not be selected as there should not be more than 50% females in a class. So this paragraph is particularly fulfilling the entire requirement of IELTS examiner, because he wants the answer of three questions: what, why, and how, right? What is the idea? He has particularly given the idea, all right? And why is that so? So this person has given the reasoning why he's saying this implementation of blah, 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 right? And then you can see that it says the example as well, right? It includes the example because it is the fundamental requirement of each body paragraph of an IELTS essay to include an appropriate example. Let's take a look at the second body paragraph. Similarly, selection of unqualified candidates on the basis of their gender may leave a distressful impact on their minds. All right, wonderful. It means that it provokes dedicated students and halt their successful career just because of being male or female. To exemplify, an eligible lady was selected and ineligible lady was selected in a final admission interview unfairly after taking out a man, and this was decided to include at least a female in the group of 5 persons. Okay, let's take a look in depth of this body paragraph. So you can see that, first of all, this person has used a linking word to connect this body paragraph with the other ideas similarly, all right? And then we can see the idea, all right? Idea explanation is there. A selection of unqualified candidates on the basis of their gender may leave a distressful impact on their minds. So, this person has wonderfully explained this idea, and this is a great idea, right? So this becomes a topic sentence, right? And afterwards, this person has used a linking phrase. It means that it provokes dedicated students and how their successful career just because of being male or female. All right. So he has given the reason, all right, why he's saying this, why he's saying this idea. Then he has used another linking word to exemplify. And we can see that how is it possible, right? Answering the possibility of this idea by giving a support example. And we can see that this example is fairly supporting this idea. Let's take a look at body paragraph number 3. In body paragraph number 3, we can see it says, lastly, biased choice in university subjects can cause bitterness and opposition between girls and boys. Consequently, this will lead to a scenario of social injustice which might create more troublesome situation for entire community. Hence, it is ending a prevailing discrimination in every even from day-to-day professional and educational life between both genders. For instance, as a result of gender discrimination faced by a worker, he would want to hire only boys in his team in later stages of career. That's good. So let's take a look in depth. In this body paragraph, since it is the last body paragraph, so this person has used lastly as a linking word, right? Biased choice in university subjects can cause bitterness and opposition between girls and boys. All right, that's very good. So this person has given another topic sentence, which is basically the third idea of the introduction, which was already included previously. Okay, after that, he's basically explaining it further. Consequently, this will lead to a scenario of social injustice, which might create more troublesome situation for an entire community. So this person has given a consequence, right, which is actually the, why this person is saying this idea, right? So you can see that. A consequence, right? And then we have got, this is further explanation, a closure of this, reason of this topic sentence. It's basically continuing the answer of why, hence it is ending a prevailing discrimination in every even from day-to-day professional and educational life between both genders. So that's very good. Wonderfully written this, the conclusion of this body paragraph. And he has supported this idea with a support example. For instance, as a result of gender discrimination faced by a worker, he would want to hire only boys in his team in later stages of career. So you can see that this person has very wonderfully written the whole body paragraph, not only body paragraph, excuse me, the whole essay, right? Let's take a look at the conclusion. In conclusion, we can see these are the same ideas, all right? And you see that to conclude, I completely disagree. Okay, that's very good. He's mentioning his position, right? I completely disagree with this idea because this can demoralize both sex as well as create an unfair mode of selection. Also, they might get offended by these implications. So you can see that, taking these ideas in view of disagreement, he has used a linking word to conclude. That's fairly fine. You can see that I completely disagree. He's restating his position just to make it sure, because it is the basic requirement of conclusion. If your position has been required, then you must mention your position. Afterwards, I completely disagree with this idea because where this can demoralize both sex, you see that demotivation has been substituted by the phrase demoralize both sex. Okay, as well as create unfair mode of selection. So non-merit selection has been substituted by unfair mode of selection. That's very good. Also, they might get offended, fire up the animosity and get offended. Somehow they are synonyms to each other. All right. So that's